Okay, as always in Stillwater, you get your money's worth if you come to the game. So it was a great game for college football. Pitt's a really good football team. What they do on offense is very unique and gives us some serious issues, but we rallied back. We were able to make some stops there after the delay. And then obviously we're able to hit the big stop and go route there on the perimeter. So very proud of our team. I told them in the locker room that they learned another great life lesson in overcoming adversity and rallying back and getting prepared for the next week. So that was awesome for those guys. Unlike last week, where I said the quarterback had struggled, he played pretty good today. He missed a few throws. I think he missed maybe 3. But overall, his accuracy was tremendous today on deep balls. And then we felt like that Washington and Seals and Lacey and McCleskey had to go get the ball and make plays based on the coverage that that Pitt's going to use, and that Coach Narduzzi and that philosophy from Michigan State. So very proud of them. And, in the end, defense made plays in the last 10 minutes or however long that was. They were able to get stops when we couldn't run the ball effectively offensively. We're just a guy off on a lot of plays, and we're closer. But we're just a guy or two off from getting on a hat. We're making some strides, but we got to get much better. What concerned me late in the game was they were running the ball. The first few plays of that drive, they ran the ball on us, and we weren't able to rush it, and that made me nervous. So fortunately for us, it worked out, and we're able to come out with the win. Much better on third downs, 6 of 15, and Pittsburgh was 4 of 18, unlike last week. We were 1 of 11, and they were 8 of 15, I believe. We had only 55 yards in penalties, but we had 5 penalties that really aren't like us, and we need to clean that up. We had a couple offsides. We had an illegal substitution. Stoner, my man Stoner, had a tough day. Had three penalties on special teams, so we'll get that adjusted and make it better. We had a punt that was tipped. The protection and the call was good. The technique was poor. We'll get that fixed next week. So overall, I was really proud of the team, and enjoy this one tonight, and then get back to work. You got a tough one next week.
Mike, you mentioned what your team overcame from last week, but they also had that lengthy delay. Another chance to fold tents if they would have wanted to. Just it seemed like the cards could have been stacked against you guys if they would have allowed it to be.
What was interesting was I'm not taking anything away from them, but we gave them really 14 points in the first half. Now, they probably feel like they gave us plays too because we got the big plays. That was one of those games where they said, well, we gave you 14, well, we gave you 14. But we put the ball on the ground on the 50-yard line, and, for a tennis term, an unforced error, and they hit us on a quick post for a touchdown. Then we did the same thing in the end zone. And they were able to continue to overcome adversity because, as you all know, it's a downer. But in the lightning delay, gave us a great chance to go in and redraw offense and defense and change our schemes, walk through, and get prepared for the second half, or remainder of the game, I should say.
Hey, Mike, you got that long run from Childs today, but that included, what did you think of the progress in your running game, and how much did it hurt not to have Carson?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's not good enough, but we're just one guy. One time it's the right guard. Next play, everybody's blocked, it's the left guard. A little bit later, everybody's blocked, it's the right tackle. We're just one guy now on a lot of plays from being better in the running game. And over the last 2 years, we were 3 guys at a time up front. So we're making improvement. Rennie played the best game he's ever played. Showed speed, showed some elusiveness. Chris Carson is hurt, so we don't have him for a while. And then I like the way that Justice Hill ran. He was close to breaking a couple. Did a nice job for a true freshman.
Mike, you mentioned your quarterback played pretty well today. Well, him and Washington set single-game records for yardage today. It started from the very first play. Was that the kind of the game plan? Were you hoping to exploit that secondary?
They're just too close to run the ball. I mean, we're an average running team at best, much less with 9 people in there. And is that a record? He broke my record. That stinks.
Well, we already had you.
Well, that stinks too.
Washington didn't play.
Washington was just a little short of a Bowman at Kansas, right? Yeah. But anyway, they had great days. You're right. They played great. And, you know, Mason came back. You know, it's tough being a quarterback when you lose a game like that. It's tough being a head coach when you lose a game like that. And he rallied back, so he did a nice job.
The play that sealed the game, Ramon's interception, he misses on the TD. It looked like he just got, you know, out of position. To get that, to see him make that play, what were your emotions?
He did just what you said. He got out of position, and it cost him. Guy made a nice throw. And then, you know, it's interesting with Ramon. He seems like a little bit like Sean Lewis. He's always in the right place at the right time. Remember when we had Sean, every time something happened, we needed a play, he picked the ball up or he would intercept it or so on and so forth. And so far, Ramon's kind of in the right place at the right time now.
Mike, you mentioned Mason's struggles last week and probably not having the game he was happy with. Mm-hmm. Did you talk to him at all during this week, or what corrections did you see him make? What did you talk to him about during the week?
Just very little. I think he's pressing. I think he's just pressing too much. And when you're 20 years old or 21 or however old he is, and people talk about you being a potential first or second round draft, and then people make judgment or decisions on you about your ability to run, your deep ball, your arm strength and all that, I think it affected him. I really do. I think he got caught up in some of that, and he started pressing. And so we wanted him to know that we believed in him, and he needs to go play. Just go play. The rest of it's going to take care of itself.
Mike, I know it's just game 3, but I just got a sense that this was lack of a better term, kind of a fork in the road deal for you guys based on the emotions of last week, everything that came after, and the caliber of opponent, not only today, but what's coming up.
Right, you're making a good point. When we came out, I was happy with our team except for the 3 or 4 major errors. But the way they played against a really good team, you want to win, but from my standpoint, you have to look at the big picture. Did they rally back? Did we make plays? Mason's played better. We ran the football a little bit. Defense got out of position at times on all the speed stuff, but that's a difficult offense to defend. So I felt good about it, but it's nice to finish the game and get the win because, you know, it's like last week. People are still upset, and the team's upset, and the coaches are because we lost. So it was a nice way to finish.
Mike, 3 games in, do you feel like you learned some things about your team? I don't know, maybe this week was where you learned the most about who these guys are and what they could be.
We didn't practice very well on Tuesday. And so I told them that on Wednesday. I told them the truth. I said, guys, we didn't practice very well. So I don't know if you have a hangover from Central, but you're going to play a team that's really good, and you're not going to be able to beat them if we practice that way. And they recovered and practiced better Wednesday. Had our best practice Thursday, and fortunately we're able to make some plays today. And I failed to mention now, Zach Siner was terrific, right? Again, target punting. Big part of when we came back. He downed him on the, well, I don't know where he downed him, but I just know they started inside the 10-yard line a couple times, and that's a big deal. It affects your play calling if you're a coordinator, because what you don't want to do is give them a chance, throw it to them, and then run it in, the game's over, or anything. So his target punting was huge there at the end of the game.
What do you think about your defensive front? It seemed like they were, I mean, I know you've talked about them, and Glenn has too, how good they've been, but it just seemed like they were really sound today.
I thought they played well, and again, we have to watch the tape. You know, sometimes when there's a good run, a 20 or 30 run, it's not always the front. You know, there's 7 guys that have to fit it, potentially a safety, and everybody's trying to get in their gaps. We want to be as gap sound as possible, and we want to eliminate extended runs. So we just have to look at tape and see where we're at. But they, I'd mentioned, I'll say it again, I'll let it go. There's some stuff they do that I kind of like as an offense. It's kind of good stuff. It's a lot like what Les and I did when we were here. But they're doing it off of a kind of a fast pace, and it's some pretty good stuff.
Rennie had 4 carries total in his first 2 games today and 4 touchdowns. Is that just sort of who you guys are with those running backs right now?
Well, obviously Carson's out, so 27 and 23 picked it up, and then we had Junior there in case we needed to get to that point. We didn't, we only had 25 runs, so in a game where we had 78 plays, but because that happened, we had to have him ready to go, and he did it. He stepped up today, ran hard. I'm excited about him. I'm excited what he did today. He made a guy miss in space, took off down the sidelines, and ran away from him. He hadn't done that, so I'm excited about him.
Mike, you touched on it, but you guys really got back to the deep ball early and often in this game. Mm-hmm. Is the pass kind of help set up the run for you in a lot of ways when you're able to stretch a defense like that?
Yeah, I mean, we're not good enough running for the run to set up the pass, so that's exactly what we have to do. Based on the team we're playing, it changes each week.
It seemed like they had their way on you, in that kind of reverse misdirection play. And then right after the delay, you kind of mentioned this, but right after the delay, it almost seemed like you always had somebody kind of always watching for that. Does that long delay is?
Well, they coached it up. I'll be real honest with you. The delay saved us. We got a lot of coaching done. Defense coached, changed it, corrected it. Offense did some things. And when the delay happened, I was okay with it because I felt like we needed to make some corrections. Could be wrong, but I felt like this is a good thing for us. And they came in and said, well, it's 30 more minutes. I was okay with that because we were still correcting mistakes. Maybe not, but don't know.
Did they come in and give you updates regularly, or how did that go? How'd you know?
You guys know Mac Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mac Butler's hound dogging us like crazy. I mean, he's got the clicker right there, and it's 34, come back 31. I got it, Mac. It's all good, buddy. I mean, he's all over it. He's the best there is. So, yeah, they give us updates one after the other.
Mike, we did see Mason with a couple fumbles today. Mm-hmm. We've seen it throughout his career. It's at random times, it seems like. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. But the one at midfield, he just didn't take care of the ball. And I couldn't see. I actually didn't see the play in the end zone because I was doing something, and I turned around and I asked them what happened, and they said the other team got a touchdown. I said, I thought we had the ball. And they said, yeah, but we fumbled. So I didn't really see that one. But when I watched the replay, it didn't look like it was that hard of a hit. He's got to do a better job taking care of the ball.
Anything else for Coach?
Good. All right, guys, thanks.
See this. This is